Gabriel Gage was born on June 8, 2004 in rural Idaho to parents Kiri Gage and Thomas Scrivener Gage. Sadly, his father died at a young age. He also lived with his uncle Andrew Scrivener Gage, who we'll be calling Uncle Drew from here on in, since he'll be a recurring character. Gabe was diagnosed with autism, so he was an awkward kid growing up, likely struggling to make friends. However, it seems early on his more perverted tendencies were on full display. According to a former classmate of his, he once did a performance in choir class where he sung "Love Me Like You Do" by Ellie Goulding while simulating a lap dance. You know, it's only a few seconds into this video and I already need a break from this shit. He was also apparently quite touchy with other girls, and they all felt uncomfortable around him. Gabe really should have been corrected on this from an early age. Now, this is all alleged, but the classmate does show proof that she and Gabe were in the same class. In the mid-2010s, Gabe would start posting on YouTube under the channel Magic Wizard 2. He started with simple videos such as 5 landscapes that you will love, or never go to Chuck E. Cheese again, with a whole bunch of exclamation points. He would then reveal his face and his infamously long greasy hair where he did videos on Pokemon.
I'm going to be showing you Pokemon figures I got for Christmas.
As he grew older and his voice barely dropped, he would branch out to different topics such as video games and WWE, and would eventually go to TikTok. In 2020, he created his first TikTok account and started posting awkward dancing videos and eventually food reviews. He would brag about his TikTok page to his high school peers, saying he was famous. Despite being a compulsive liar, Gabe wasn't completely wrong about this. However, he was omitting information. Nova didn't get famous because his content was cool, funny, or just enjoyable slop. Nova got famous because people tuned in to mock him. His major breakthrough was his Wingstop review. The food reviews are nothing special. He often tries to get technical with how well his cuisine is cooked, but it often comes out as forced. However, viewers enjoyed it for his mockable voice and appearance.
Mildly spicy, but nothing that I can't bear.
His ego grew greatly from this, but he wasn't self-aware enough to actually take advantage. A few months after the Wingstop review, Creme 2 News did a segment on the minimum wage where they highlighted a restaurant Nova worked at, and then he shouted his famous phrase,
"Can I get a French onion soup, please?"
Around this time, Nova also feuded with another famous lolcow, Tofia Chu. Basically, they were pointing fingers at each other, accusing the other one of being racist. Nova said Tofia was racist against Asians and Mexicans, and Tofia said Nova's Uncle Drew was racist and transphobic. The rivalry would continue into 2023. However, while all this was happening, darkness was brewing. Nova used Discord a lot. He likely didn't have any real-life friends, so his entire life was online. He ran multiple Discord servers over the years, and if you know anything about the Discord mod stereotype, yeah, he fits it perfectly. In late 2022, he was exposed for having an adult baby fetish where he would wear diapers and roleplay as a baby, even soiling in them intentionally. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wow, that's disgusting. How can it get any worse? Well, in 2023, a major leak from this Discord occurred. Nova was speaking to a 14-year-old girl while wearing a diaper and sucking on a pacifier. He was 18 at the time. The interaction was very sexual, as he asked if she masturbates, and he would treat her as his mommy, where he would sing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" to her in that wretched baby voice.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky.
This had immense fallout, where Nova went from being known as a regular fat autistic kid to a child predator who roped minors into his sick fetish. As his world burned around him, Nova would retreat to his Discord and ask his Discord friends to help him out, but it only got worse. He would refuse to address the accusations directly, completely crashing out.
I'm at my breaking point. You're effing trolls who have nothing else better to do!
He was also kicked out of his church after they found out about his unsavory material online. Even worse, his mother worked at this church and was fired because of this. This infamous persona attached to Nova really took a toll on his personal life. During his blow-up on TikTok, he would get into continuous fights with his uncle Drew. According to Drew, Nova was terminally online and would throw massive tantrums every time he was cut off. In his words, the final straw between them would be when he went on Nova's TikTok and saw him acting like a pervert. I believe Drew is referring to the Discord leaks, though he never specifies. The reason I know all this is because of the YouTuber Bloodspeth reaching out to Drew for a text interview, so shout out to him for that. Uncle Drew seemed to desperately want to fix Nova's shit, but Nova would scream and cry at the thought of engaging in any kind of self-improvement, and his meltdowns would leak onto his TikTok lives.
God damn it! Motherfucker! And f***ing my f***ing uncle!
Uncle Drew kind of reminds me of Chris Chan's father, Bob, an older man who attempted to instill discipline into their son or nephew, but it was too late as they were already circling the drain. Nova would start taking it to the haters with his Rocky arc. Nova has a tendency to turn everything into content, which in this case included his fitness and fighting arc. Now it's respectable that he wants to lose weight, however his form here is trash with everything he does fitness related. His punches hit like wet paper and what is this supposed to be? That's like a quarter of a lat pull down. Obviously this weight loss wouldn't go anywhere, at least not for now. Nova's content would continue as normal for the next year. Everybody who ran into him would be like, wait, isn't this the pervert who tried grooming a 14-year-old? But he would pretend that it never happened. However, in April of 2024, Nova's TikTok account was hacked. The bio of the account was changed to include a couple of links supposedly exposing Nova. The account was later changed to just include a bunch of random dropshipping videos, though. Nova would say he's quitting the internet.
Yes! Yes!
Until a week later, when he came back.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
They always do this, don't they? Nova would continue sad posting about how hard his life is, and apparently would contact the Trevor Project, which is actually for LGBT people, but whatever. Nova likes to brand himself as a mental health advocate, but really he's just using it as a shield to score pity points when people call him out on his behavior. However, Nova would pick himself back up again and swear to take revenge against the haters. He started a podcast called Hour of Joy with a social media manager named Sia. Well, it turns out this girl was 15 years old. The alarm was sounded immediately, and there was another round of leaks inbound. Nova would refer to her as his women, and in private he said that she had mommy attitude. Yup, it happened again. He would send her a video of his pacifier and ask her to recreate his favorite ASMR videos, which look like, yeah, those. Nova would address this by saying that she's actually in college, even though in the messages he would completely ignore her when she said she's only 16. Nova would try to rebrand this podcast into Kiwi Core, which was meant to talk about lolcows, showing levels of unself-awareness I've never imagined. With all the hate falling on him, Nova attempted to fix his reputation by reaching out to lolcow YouTubers Kiwi Tapes and Smokey MCC, asking to appear on their podcast Too High for Stupid. However, this didn't really lead to much. Nova would constantly try to change the topic and focused on the hater comments the entire time. This interview would only make things worse, as Smokey and Kiwi would dig deeper into Nova's Discord server. They found many messages from users saying that they were only minors. Nova claims the server is not NSFW, however apparently Nova's self-identified girlfriend was showcasing their dildo collection. Yeah, I'm gonna say that Nova is lying here. Nova would eventually make this Discord server 18+, but it was too little too late. This Discord server would be hacked and shut down, and Nova lamented. In 2025, Nova started out the year strong by following Baby Fur ABDL caregivers and littles on Twitter. Am I done yet? His content would continue as usual, and he had a new tactic to fight the trolls. He'd watermark his videos, both visually and auditorially.
Pepsi Wild Cherry Zero Sugar.
Exclusive property
So
of the
let's go
NovineUniverse
ahead
on
and
TikTok.
pour about half of this.
Okay, it's one thing to watermark your videos visually, as it can be in the background and not really change your content. However, to watermark your videos with your loud, obnoxious voice, it basically makes your audience unable to decipher
Exclusive
what you're
property
saying,
of
which
Slopper
shows
on
how
YouTube.
bad Nova is at this whole social media thing. In May, Nova released yet another Discord server. Yeah, you know where this is going. He claimed the server was going to be 18+. However, the only worthwhile verification was a phone number verification. There was no actual age verification to join this server. An account called Solidus Nova would leak that Nova was friends with a 17-year-old girl on this server, showing that Nova was knowingly admitting underage people into this server. This girl would come out saying that she was friends with Nova since she was 15 and he was 19, and would talk about his predatory behavior towards her. Nova would do the same thing he did with Sia, asking her to recreate his favorite ASMR videos, and would refer to her as his mommy while talking to her in that baby voice. Shortly after, Uncle Drew would pass away. Interestingly, Nova seemed to grieve at this, saying that just because they fought, it doesn't mean he hated him. 2025 would also be the year where Nova would start receiving IRL harassment. I want to make it clear that no matter how loathsome I think Nova is, I condemn and disavow this kind of behavior. Don't do it. Remember what I said about touching the poo? Okay, yeah, you guys get it. Let's move on. There were many pranksters who did things such as stuffing his mailbox with donuts, putting 19 gallons of milk on his doorsteps, screaming the N-word at him, giving him French onion soup, etc. In 2026, Nova showed that he had lost a lot of weight. Now you might be thinking, wow, good for Nova. He's finally putting in effort while exercising. Well, many people who follow NovaOnline are suspicious. He apparently lost 35 pounds in just 2 months, which is a very sharp drop. Nova is still eating fast food garbage every day for his TikTok food reviews, and the exercise content he posts still doesn't look strenuous in the slightest. Now things look a little more suspicious, don't they? It's very possible that Nova is on some sort of weight loss drug, such as Ozempic. This would just be the beginning of this action-packed year though. In March, Nova's Pornhub account was leaked. Yup, you heard me right. And yes, he posted content. Basically, he had a video of him using a vibrator to pleasure his dingling. Unfortunately, I've seen it. I need a vacation from all this lolcow micropenis. Nova would react in a similar way to all the other leaks. He'd basically just plug his ears and refuse to address the elephant in the room, all while building resentment for those spotlighting this moment of hilarity. He would end up lashing out and posting his personal hit list, vowing to take revenge. Here we have the expected names such as Sensitive Society, Kiwi Tape, Smokey MCC, Chin Universe, etc. We also have Bloodspeth, but he's called Fake Speth for some reason. It's also written in red. He also has Tofia Chew with a middle finger next to it, showing he still holds a grudge against her after all these years. Unfortunately, your boy didn't make the list. I gotta step my game up because I truly think Nova is a strong contender for lolcow of the year 2026. So if you want to watch another YouTuber dunk on Nova, subscribe and stay tuned. And if NovaOnline ever insinuates that you're a mommy, run.